A word on trials. We've all had them, and some are harder than others. Today's particular meditation is not about the comparison of trials from one person's to another, or about what constitutes a hard trial or not. We all know that there are varying degrees and levels of pain in trials. But I think each one of us could agree that when the trial has to do with our lives hanging in the balance, we are forced into a different realm of trusting by faith in the goodness and sovereignty of God than we would be in light of any other circumstance. For the particular trial that I have recently walked through, there were many times I felt that it was akin to childbirth. This in the fact that there was really no way around it. I just had to go through it. I felt the Lord calling me, asking me even, to walk through it by faith. So many times we just didn't have concrete answers as to what was going on. And after a period of waiting, it dawned on me. This was what the Lord was asking me to do. He was asking me to wait. Not just to wait for waiting's sake, though, but to learn to wait on Him. To learn to wait for Him. One way I could see that He was using this trial in my life was to minister to me just how trustworthy and worth waiting for He actually is. His plans for His children are always for good, no matter what the outcome is. Elizabeth Elliot once said that what God has done to me, God has done for me. And anyone who loves Christ and who's walked through the fiery trials of a potential cancer diagnosis knows that a trial such as this will push you right into the breast of Christ like nothing else will. To be reminded of our own frailty, weakness, and mortality is actually good for the soul. In fact, King David said in Psalm 119, "It is good for me that I was afflicted, that I might know your statutes." Again, the reminder of the goodness of trials comes from our brother, the Apostle Paul, when he says in 1 Corinthians 3 that he pleaded with the Lord 3 times to remove a certain thorn, and the Lord said no. The Lord said instead that His power is made perfect in weakness. Paul would go on to boast in those very weaknesses because then the power of Christ would be on display. Not Paul's power, Christ's power. Oftentimes I wondered if that's what the Lord was doing for me. When I couldn't lift or bend or garden or keep up with the things that I was so used to doing each day, He was teaching me that His power is perfected in my weakness. Another beautiful thing trials do is expose the sins we coddle so. In particular for me, this trial and coming out the other side has revealed to me much of my tendencies to harbor sinful anxiety in my heart. Much of my life has unfortunately been characterized by this trait, yes, even as a Christian, but the beautiful thing about this trial in particular is that it has taught me that I must have faith and repent of sinful anxiety. God is trustworthy, and my life ought to reveal that truth. Oh Lord, let my life reveal that truth. Lastly, I've been thinking about how trials help to wean us from the world. Now don't get me wrong, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. It's a beautiful and majestic place to be. But there's nothing like a trial to remind us that even the best of gifts here on earth are temporary and won't truly satisfy. And furthermore, they pale in comparison to the joys found in knowing and being known by the risen Christ. You see, the God who made everything, including the coffee you so enjoyed this morning and the computer that you are able to do 100 amazing tasks on with the click of a button, and the very universe within which you exist, He holds you and me in the palm of His hand. And He has determined our days before there was yet one. He knows the number of hairs on our head, and He can be trusted whether He gives us 15 years or 100. So whatever trial you're going through, my dear friend, I can promise you without a shadow of a doubt that Christ Himself will carry you through, because He Himself made it all, He owns it all, and cares for it all. And as a good and faithful shepherd, He is infinitely worthy of both your trust and mine.